If you are bored of watching gang wars taking place in India, Aditya Dhar brings you something so different, something you've never seen before. Gang wars in Pakistan. Based on true events, which includes the Kandahar hijack and the 26/11 terror attack in Mumbai, Dhurandhar is a gorgeously made spy movie with lots of flowing long hair, action scenes that will titillate your inner torture technician, and a storyline where Ranveer Singh should have been the highlight, but the show is stolen by Akshay Khanna. Is Dhurandhar worth your time? Because it is 214 minutes long, and if you include the interval and whatever the ads and the trailers that play before the movie, you are stuck in the theater for about 4 hours. So you decide. I should have put on some nail polish today. The plot does not have any mystery, so you don't have to worry about any spoilers. Ranveer Singh is an undercover spy who infiltrates Pakistan's Liari town, which was the hub of all criminal gang activities. These gangs, they thrived on extortion, target killing of police and their rival gang members, all of that, regular gang stuff. Some of them also had political patronage and protection, which sort of made them mini rulers of this township in Karachi. Have you heard that song, Karachi? It's pretty nice, no? I had a hard time keeping up with all the character introductions despite their name cards appearing on screen every time they made an entrance. So I'm going to make this really simple. I'll break this down, and this is all you need to know to follow the plot. So Liari has two gangs. One gang is led by Rehman Baloch, who is more popularly known as Rehman Dakat. This Rehman Dakat has a right-hand man. His name is Uzair Baloch. These two appear side by side on hoardings and everything in Liari. The other gang has a leader who you really don't need to know much about, because Rahman goes and kills him off early on in the movie in a very brutal fashion and declares himself the kingpin of Liari. In his world, Rahman thinks he stands for the Baloch people from Balochistan, but he's a criminal, so his allegiance lies to no one. So why does Rehman Dakat kill this other gang's leader? Because they were apparently living together all this while, right? So Rehman had a youngish son, maybe a teenager, who was perforated with bullets without provocation by this other gang leader's men. So revenge. This moment was also a very good opportunity for Ranveer Singh to make his way into Rehman Dakat's gang. He protects the son while he could. Of course, the boy dies. So when Rehman comes to know that this guy, Hamza, was protecting his son, he sort of gets impressed, and this guy becomes a part of the Dakat gang. Even though really low in the pecking order, it is Hamza who convinces Rehman to finish off the man responsible for his son's death. Hamza continues to hang around Rehman while he finds his political footing through various dealings with people, including a sellout politician, Jamal, who himself deals with the police and the gangsters to meet his own interests. Then there are a couple of counterfeiters who pump counterfeit money into India, and then there is the ISI through whom he sort of supplies the arms which would be used in the Mumbai attacks. Hamza's job is to take the inside info and pass it on to the Indian intelligence, because he is a spy, duh. But the Dhurandhar project has bigger plans. Hamza does not stop at being the mole in the underworld. Neither is his aim to just be in the proximity of the kingpin. He wants to be the kingpin. One of the fastest way to do that is to win the heart of Jamal's 19-year-old daughter and win his Sasurji's support. At one point, Sasurji summons a super cop named SP Aslam Chaudhary, played by Sanjay Dutt. He is there just for the optics and an additional action set, and he actually gets nothing done. Finally, Hamza turns on Rehman, and in one scene he completely bashes him up without weapons, all fists. And this is supposed to juxtapose his beige personality, which he upheld in front of Rehman till then. Funnily, the remaining gang members do not even suspect this Hamza guy of betraying their leader Rehman, and this is pretty much the end of the movie. The power restructure in the Liari crime world and Hamza's backstory will be taken up in the next movie, the sequel, which I think will be coming out in April. The theatre was nearly full for the show I went for, and there was a really long queue for the next screening. So Dhurandhar has definitely got something right, and let's talk about that. Akshay Khanna steals the show yet again. By now, directors should just know that if they want a movie where they want the good guy to take the cake and be the highlight of the story, and then they cast Akshay Khanna as the bad guy, he ain't gonna let that happen. In a film packed with stars, he is the one you cannot look away from. You must have heard of, people embodying villainy. This is it. Ominous, magnetic, unmistakably dangerous, and disturbingly elegant. For anyone watching Dhurandhar, I tell you, keep your eyes on all his entrances and exits because he makes every minute worth it. If this Rahman Dakat was not based on a real bad guy who's done some real nasty things, I would totally want a spin-off. Next on the list is Ranveer Singh. He's the main guy, he plays Hamza. He is a good actor, but I really don't think he's a great actor. But he bags all the big projects and he does bring a hell lot of energy to his characters, and this is one of them. He manages to not overdo his performance, which makes his role as a very important antagonist's lackey believable. He's meant to be in the sideline, and well, that is where he stays. Though he is too buff to be just taking a beating from people who are less muscular than him without really fighting back, that itself is very suspicious. We are not told much, or rather anything, about Hamza's pre-espionage life. So he comes across as a nobody who has just infiltrated a criminal gang, and he's trying to rise up the ladder using his cunning brain. We don't see much of spy work anywhere except in some scenes where he's reading and writing from his secret diary. Remember वो मिलता था पहले magic pen. Anyway, he does lock in the action scenes, which is really important because there is a lot of action in the movie. If you've noticed, people are anyway talking more about his looks and his appearance than his performance, and that itself is quite telling. What shampoo does he use here? Rakesh Bedi as Jamal is such a good casting choice. He is at once comedic, shrewd, frustrated. His daughter and Hamza's love interest is played by a very young and fresh Sara Arjun, who is visibly much younger than Ranveer Singh. She's about 19 in the movie, and her screen father also says that he points out the huge age difference. It reinforces the fact that in this relationship, the man will be in charge. He will be calling the shots. Okay, so we know she's really young, but come on, look at the picture IMDb has used. Who is in charge of updating this website? Sanjay Dutt brings immense gravitas to his role as SP Chaudhary, despite some of his funny lines. But more on him in a while. After Akshay Khanna, the biggest knockout punch of the movie is its background score, which is basically a collection of all the biggest hits from yesteryears, tweaked a bit. And there is that Arabic song which is now in every Akshay Khanna edit. I cannot recall the name, it is in Arabic, but let me play it for you. There's also that song, it's in Punjabi, and Hanuman Kind also has a feature in it, and it plays whenever Ranveer Singh is on screen or doing something heroic. Yeah, that one's nice too. The only music track, the song that I did not like, and I don't even know what was the need of putting it in a movie which anyway has your attention from start to finish, was that wedding dance song. Two women were dancing, two women were singing, and it's just another dance number, an item song like that. I mean, why? I am watching the movie, you have my attention. But of course, it is not directed at me. Dhurandhar has done a pretty good job when it comes to world building. It is absolutely committed to the uglier corners of the world it is set in, not throughout the movie, but in most parts of it. The underworld is not supposed to be polished or cinematic, so what you get is messy, claustrophobic, and unpredictable. So even though there are some gorgeous shots of the landscape, for example that scene where Sanjay Dutt makes an entry, or all the Ranveer Singh riding a bike scenes, you do get to see dark alleys and cramped rooms and very violent torture scenes and bashed up skulls. The production, the camera work, and the pacing all go hand in hand, and therefore the runtime seems or is a little long. How else do you make space for Akshay Khanna's long stares and pauses? And how else do you hang around in a torture chamber long enough to make you feel uncomfortable? Now let's talk about what did work for me. The movie shocks with unflinching violence. It puts you in awe of the beautiful landscapes. The action sets are so well choreographed. There are bodies blowing up and heads being decapitated, and the background music elevates it all up even more. It is a spectacle, and unfortunately a very surface level one. It didn't really impact me on such a level that I would keep thinking about it after the movie and maybe take home some lesson from it or something. It was just fun to watch and hear, and I kind of think the movie makers, they knew it would not have that impact. To get that impact, what the movie does is it just turns the entire screen red and plays the actual call recorded during the Mumbai attack. This feeling of watching something very serious and devastating should ideally have come from the story itself and not from an actual call recording taken from a real event. So now I don't know, am I watching a documentary or is this fake? How much of it is fake? How much of it is real? I even begin to feel guilty for enjoying myself because I shouldn't be enjoying. I'm not watching a fun movie anymore, right? Some characters were so hyped, but then not enough was written for their role. And the biggest example being Sanjay Dutt's SP Chaudhary, who apparently did not take orders from anyone and he did things his own way, and then he goes on to take orders from someone and works as per instructions. His USP, it turns out, is just blocking roads and not executing encounters. The movie could have done so much more with him. Hamza is a bit of a contradiction. So Ranveer Singh's performance is supposed to be subdued because he's trying to be in the shadows and not get too much attention on himself, and then he pulls a stunt like going to the Special Task Force headquarters and latcawing police officers from ceiling fans, and like that's not going to get him attention. And this other guy, Uzair Baloch, why is he suddenly taking orders from Hamza? Why is Hamza calling all the shots? Uzair Baloch was his higher up in ranking. Arjun Rampal as the ISI guy barely gets any screen time. He has two gold tooth thing going on. I don't know what that is inspired from. Maybe that actual guy did have some gold teeth situation. He does get a fancy intro, so I think he will have more screen time in the next movie. Okay, this one is so hard to miss and everybody's talking about it, and I see why. It's like a very well-made gang war movie going on and it's really engaging, and then the writer slips in his own personal political opinions like that unwanted ilaichi in your biryani. Some of the lines are so in your face. You know what's going on, but you gotta ignore it because the movie is nice. It breaks the flow, and honestly it makes you feel silly for not having seen this coming. My final verdict is that Dhurandhar is a very engaging movie, but somewhere during the runtime you realize that it is banking on a pre-existing emotional disposition of its audience to make an impact. What I mean is that the movie knows that the audience feels a certain way about certain things, and it just goes and harps on it a little more because they know they will get that reaction anyway. Also, I hear some people saying that it's a more realistic take on a spy movie. I don't really agree because it has enough shosha to be considered one of the big Bollywood action movies. Sabhi kuch ho raha hai, nothing subtle about it. You won't like it if violence and masala gives you the ick. You will like it if you are into action and you are open to watching Akshay Khanna's fabulous performance, and you will love it if your political ideology is the identical twin of the filmmaker's political ideology. By the way, Akshay Khanna has a line where he says that Rahman Daket's murders, his kills are very Kasai Numa, clearly written by someone who's never seen a Kasai's work. When was the last time when your butcher gave you a leg piece in your chicken breast piece order? It doesn't happen. Kasai Numa work ideally should mean precision work.